What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's filthiest pitches of the day. I am Pitching Ninja, and I'm here with a very inquisitive Will Leahey. What's happening, Will?
That's me, Ninja. So we had a lot of rookie pitching yesterday, which kind of seems to be a theme for this season because there's just an endless amount of unbelievable rookie pitchers this year, Ninja. And if you look at the Rookie of the Year odds on FanDuel, the top 4 Rookie of the Year candidates are all pitchers, and then kind of similar in the American League, the top 2 are pitchers. Who's most impressed you so far this year out of these phenomenal rookie pitchers we got, Ninja?
Well, number one, I thought it was just my bias. I thought that I'm just saying there's a ton of great rookie pitchers, and, am I biased in favor of them? And then I look at the Rookie of the Year odds, and all the pitchers are favored. I think right now, and a couple of them pitched yesterday, I would say Luis Heel and Paul Skenes are ridiculous talents. Like, they both shove. It's easy to see why they're successful, and I kind of expect that. Shota Imanaga is absolutely dynamic, a fun pitcher to watch. Will his domination stay? I think that's interesting. I think it's a good discussion. I understand why he's successful, but do hitters catch up to that, or does he have to change his mix? He likely will have to change his mix. That doesn't mean he's still not going to be successful. And then also, you have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who came over to huge hype, and for the most part has lived up to it, I think. Like, I see every bit and piece of him being a longtime star in the league. Was he 25 years old and amazing command and great stuff? Everybody wants to hate him because of his contract at the Dodgers, blah, blah, blah. He certainly is up there with all the rest of them. And then you have the man, medieval Mason Miller, the Reaper, whatever you want to call him. It doesn't matter. He gets to choose his name because the dude is just flat out dominant and getting better. I'm seeing signs of him actually keep improving his game. So I don't know, Will. To me, my instincts are Paul Skenes is a generational pitcher, and I think he's the best of all of them. And Mason Miller is a generational closer. So you have that going on too. That's my thought. But are you going to argue against Luis Heel?
I feel like if Miller and Skenes keep the pace that they're on right now, I think they're going to take it down. And at Skenes at plus 380, I might have to hop on this, Ninja.
Anyway, enough talking about rookies. We'll get back into it during the whip around the league. I'm going to start out with Frankie Montas, who had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. He had this painted cutter, his slider for a sword, this nasty splitter. He faced Andre Palante, who had 4 Ks in 6 scoreless innings, had this painted fastball. Not really flashy stuff, but good enough for the Cards to beat the Reds 5-3. Dane Dunning had 6 Ks in 5 scoreless innings, giving up 3 hits. The Green Snake had these fastballs, sliders, and changeup. As the Rangers beat the D-backs 6-1, he faced Ryan Nelson, who had 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 4 runs and had this cutter. Yu Darvish had 2 Ks in 3 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, and had to leave the game due to hamstring tightness, but did have this cutter. He faced Braxton Garrett, who had 2 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 1 run. I didn't take Braxton Garrett in my K-prop parlay, which means he would have lower Ks, and he did. But he still shut down the Padres, helping the Marlins to win 9-1. He had this elevated cutter and slider. The Dodgers beat the Mets 10-3 behind James Paxton and his 3 Ks in 3 scoreless innings. He had this painted fastball and changeup. He faced David Peterson, who's coming back from hip surgery, and had 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. And had this slider. I didn't think he looked particularly good, but he looked particularly good for someone coming back from hip surgery. Expect him to start picking up some Ks.
Yeah, and Mets reliever Jorge Lopez kind of voiced his frustrations here by chucking his glove into the stands after getting kicked out. And he also got kicked off the Mets because he goes and trashes him after the game like an absolute fool. And he got DFA'd. So good job, bud. Maybe he was trying to, but not the best way to stay in the league.
Do you regret doing that?
No. No, I don't regret it. I think I've been looking the worst team in probably in the whole MLB. So
I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt only because, you know what? I'm not going to give him the benefit of doubt. It is a badass move to say the Mets are the team in the league. You're going to go out on a high note and trash the whole organization. Remember years ago that woman quit during the Kanye West song and just walked on out? I think this is what you should do. Tell everybody what everybody knows anyway. Just go out and take a dump on the Mets. Ryan Pepio had 7 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had these fastballs and changeups for a sort. I thought his changeup looked solid yesterday, and he led the Rays to a 4-3 victory over the A's. Not because Joey Estes didn't pitch well, because he did. Estes had 5 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 1 run on 2 hits. He had this elevated fastball for a sword, this painted fastball, and this changeup. Ty Block threw well yesterday, unspectacularly, and had these changeups. The Rockies beat the Guardians 7-4. I hate games at Coors Field. This. Shota Imanaga had 1 K in 4 1/3 innings, giving up 7 runs. He had the splitter for a sword for his only strikeout, but had 0 swings and misses on his heater.
He finally had a bad outing. He doubled his ERA for the season after this single outing. I think he just didn't get enough sleep or something, Ninja. I got excuses for the
He
guy.
had
He's coming
11
back.
days of rest. Honestly, I think that might be too much rest. I do think the Cubs were right to let him rest a little bit because pitching in his normal rotation spot, I mean, he's bound to wear down at some point.
Especially because in Japan they have another day of rest.
That's right. In Japan, they generally pitch once a week and pitch a lot more pitches, though, on average in a game. Kind of like college here. But Shota Imanaga's outing was not all for naught because he dropped this awesome reaction gif. We're going to use this all season, aren't we, Will?
We absolutely are. And Ninja, his hair is spectacular. He has kind of like a fluffy mullet going there, and I just love everything about this guy.
He faced Bryce Wilson, who had 1K in 4 innings, giving up 3 earned runs. And this paintish two-seamer wasn't great, but it was enough for the Brewers to beat the Cubs 10-5 because Shota wasn't great. Chris the Snake Flexen had 6 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these cutters and slow curveballs. But the Blue Jays did beat the White Sox 3-1 behind Alek Manoah, who had 3 Ks in 1 2/3 innings, giving up only 1 hit and no runs, and looked really good up until the point where his elbow started hurting and had to leave the game. He did have these nasty sliders. I hope Manoah is okay because he is definitely showing signs of being back to the old Alek Manoah. And just when that happens, well, hope elbow tightness. We'll see. It's usually not a good sign, though, Will. Christopher Sanchez had 7 Ks in 6 scoreless innings. Don't look now, but his ERA is 2.83, and he's been really good all year. Helped the Phillies beat the Giants 6-1. He had this cutter, as well as these changeups, and his changeup again, one of my favorite changeups in baseball. Absolutely dirty. He has a 42% whiff rate on his changeup this season. He outdueled Kyle Harrison, who had 5 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 12 hits and 4 runs, and had these changeups. Seth Lugo had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 1 run, totally quieting the Twins' bats, helping the Royals win 6-1. He had this front door two-seamer that was wicked. This thing broke 17 inches to the plate, as well as these sliders and nasty sweeper. And he outdueled Bailey Ober, who just wasn't that good yesterday, so we're going to skip him. Corbin Burns had 5 Ks in 7 innings, giving up no earned runs. His ERA right now is 2.35, and for some reason, I just get the inkling that Corbin Burns still isn't pitching like Corbin Burns totally yet, and his ERA is still 2.35. This is one reason why you can't discount him in the AL Cy Young race. The Orioles beat the Red Sox 6-1. Burns had this cutter, these wicked curveballs, and sliders. And he outdueled Cutter Crawford, who had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 5 runs, raising his ERA to 3.29. Had his painted fastball and cutter. And I don't know, the league catching back up to Cutter Crawford, Will?
I think the league is catching back up to the Sox starters in general. The epic ERAs that they started off with are all slowly but surely dwindling, and it's not looking good, Ninja.
George the Animal Kirby was back being the Animal. He had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 1 run, and of course, no walks, as the Mariners beat the Astros 2-1. He had this paintish two-seamer. I mean, don't give George Kirby a bigger strike zone than he needs. The man is a marksman. He also had this painted slider and this filthy wipeout slider, sick knuckle curve, and absolutely disgusting splitter. He faced Justin Verlander, who had 9 Ks in 7 innings, giving up 1 run on 3 hits. He had this elevated fastball, and I thought his changeups looked really good. He had this one back-to-back to get the K, and overall, he's been using his changeup a lot more, and it's a good pitch. Speaking of good pitchers, Mackenzie Gore had 10 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 earned run. His ERA right now is 2.91, and the whole world would be talking about Mackenzie Gore if he didn't pitch for the Nats. But he did help the Nats shut down the Braves 7-2. He had these upper 90s heaters, wicked changeups, but I thought his best pitch was his slider, up to 94 miles an hour on his slider. The dude is an absolute ace and sure to be trade bait at some point. Like, he's not that far behind top left-handed pitchers in baseball to me. He faced Spencer Schwellenbach, who I'm going to dub Gardenhoser because no one's going to be able to pronounce his name. He had his MLB debut and 5 Ks in 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, had these heaters, including his fastball at the knees. A solid debut for Gardenhoser. Luis Heel, the Gila monster, had 9 Ks in 8 innings, giving up 1 run on 2 hits. It is just what the Gila monster does. Yankees won 2-1 behind that big arm. He had these upper 90s fastballs over and over again. His ERA right now is 1.99. He is every bit looking like a new Garrett Cole. Like, they just cloned this dude. As a matter of fact, if you look at his fastball and compare it to Garrett Cole's fastball, there are a ton of similarities. They use their fastball at about the same rate. Velo's very close to the same. Cole is like 96.7. Heel is 96.5. Very similar vertical breaks, meaning their fastballs tend to carry very well, and they have similar spin rates. And I don't see any signs of this dude slowing down other than innings limits. Like, he is really, really, really good. He faced Tyler Anderson, who had 4 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 1 run, had this cutter. Paul Skenes was freaking outstanding again yesterday as the Pirates beat the Tigers in the second game of doubleheader 10-2. He went 6 innings with 9 Ks.
Nice.
Giving up 2 runs on 3 hits. He had these fastballs up to 100.5 miles an hour, but the pitch of the game for him was his splinker. He had 11 swings and misses on his splinker for a 44% whiff rate. 11 of his 19 total swings and misses, which led the day yesterday, were on his splinker. Look at these pitches. They're absolutely ridiculous in terms of movement. Just drop off the face of the earth. They come in looking like a heater. Matter of fact, it's basically major league average heater velocity with that movement. I love this back when the splinker was kind of kept under the hood by Skenes, and catcher Henry Davis was asked about it. He's like, what's that pitch? They said, oh, it'll show up on Pitching Ninja soon enough. Well, this pitch is fully in bloom right now, and all a splinker is basically a modified splitter. You're throwing a sinker with a wider grip, basically like a splitter, but you're able to keep more of the velo because your fingers are spread less wide. And what Skenes does to make it even nastier is he kind of curls his pointer finger a little bit, making it come off his middle finger more, giving it a little extra movement. I might have given that cue to Mason Miller, by the way. Here's an overlay of Skenes' fastball and splinker, and you can see how those pitches mirror each other. They come in looking exactly like each other, but there's a velo difference and a movement difference on these pitches. The fastball gets fouled off, the splinker gets a swing and miss. Skenes' ERA right now, 2.45, and expect that to drop, I think. He faced Kadir Montero, who made his major league debut yesterday and had 5 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs and had these sliders. Jared Jones had a stinker of an outing yesterday. He had 2 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, but gave up 7 runs, 5 of them earned. He had these sliders. I don't know. Maybe the lightning scared him. That happened in the first inning. Like, it scared me. It scared Jason Benetti in the booth.
That was as bright of a flash of lightning as you're going to see.
But what do you expect if you're one half of the Allegheny Electric Company? Pure electricity. This time the electricity was coming from the sky and not his arm, though.
I think he might be spending a little too much time tanning because I noticed he has a sensational tan going, Ninja.
He's like just a good-looking dude, man.
Yeah, no diddy. But anyway, back to baseball.
He also got hit with a throwback from the catcher despite never taking his eye off the ball. Like, I don't know how he did that. That shows you how shook up he was. The Pirates did lose to the Tigers because yesterday's filthiest starting pitcher of the day was throwing Tarik Skubal. I don't have enough good words to say about Tarik Skubal and his pitching ability. The man is just a dominator. I don't know that he had his best stuff yesterday. He still had 8 Ks in 7 innings, giving up no runs, only 3 hits. His ERA this year is now 2.01, the obvious favorite in the AL Cy Young race. His stuff is just better than everybody else's. I think he may be the best pitcher in baseball right now. He had these fastballs up to 99 miles an hour. These changeups, picked up a sword. Here's a breakdown of his pitches. And I think Tarik Skubal deserves some Scooby snacks after this outing. And, he does eat them, apparently, as shown in this interview with him.
Yeah, no, I grew up watching it. I had the Scooby snacks. I think the blue one was, whichever one the blue flavor was, which in those packs were the best ones. I actually eat fruit snacks a ton on days I pitch. I think it's like a good little sugar spike, especially when you're burning a lot of calories and sweating.
Now to my filthiest relievers. Brian Abreu had these fastballs and slider. Mason Englert had these
Here at
changeups.
Comerica, and that is a sword, is what Pitching Ninja calls that.
Josh Hader had these fastballs. Hunter Harvey had this curveball and heaters up to 99 miles an hour. Colin Holderman had this nasty sweeper. TJ McFarland and his funky mechanics had these nasty changeups. Andres Munoz had this painted two-seamer. And I love this from Prince Albert. He had this curveball, gave up a few runs, but I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about CJ Nitkowski pointing out that Pierce Johnson's average curveball had 3,000 RPM. So he suggested that it be called the Andre. And Brandon Gaudin was not picking up what CJ Nitkowski was throwing down.
Should call that curveball the Andre. It's got exactly a 3,000 spin rate on that pitch. What do you think?
Andre the Giant.
No, Andre 3000.
Oh, Andre 3000.
What? What just happened here? I'm the old guy.
He's in Atlanta. Andre 3000. Come on, get with it. How do you miss that, Brandon? You're one of my favorite announcers, and you miss that? In minor league action, David Fletcher had these knuckleballs. Yep, David Fletcher, the position player, is being made into a knuckleball pitcher. I love it. Give me all the knuckleball pitchers on the planet. You have my permission, Mr. Fletcher, to come over to the dark side. My top 5 filthiest pitches of the day yesterday. At number 5, I have Luis Heel and his heaters. At number 4, I have Tarik Skubal and his heaters. At number 3, George Kirby and this ridiculous splitter. At number 2, check out this slider by Blake Trienen. This is a home plate view of it. Little offset, which makes this look not as nasty as it is. And it's still impossible. The man is an absolute witch, but I can't say that. And at number 1, we have Paul Skenes and his splinkers. Pick one of them. They were all nasty. It's one of the best pitches in baseball. And now, my Pitching Ninja moment of Zen. I have a feeling Ron Darling is watching our videos because here he is giving a shout out to the shitter, I believe.
Fastball. He calls the split finger the shitter.
He also throws this pitch that looks like a splitter, but he calls it a chitter. I think since it's a sharp and hard splitter, he should call it a shitter.
Agreed, Ninja.
My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Logan Gilbert for 5 Ks or more, then take Carlos Rodon for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Zach Gallen for 6 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?